It's really, really good to be back with you all. This is not the first time you've been back in person, is it?
No, we had a stickball game.
Yeah, but it's the first time back here for a while. Am I right about that? And so thank you to David and Helen, as always, who opened up this space and to, were they at your house, Todd? Was everyone at your house? Where was that? For stickball?
Oh, at Legion Park.
At Legion Park. Todd and also has meetings at his place many times, but at any rate, it is really, really good to be back together in person with all of you again. It's been a very long time, it feels like. So I want to kind of share a couple of things about what's going on that may be of particular interest for at-large people, and then for just a moment, I thought I'd riff on some of the themes that have already been brought up, either in private conversations or in Cynthia's words when she opened up here. One of the things I'm really excited about, this has not really been publicly announced, but it is kind of out there, so I don't feel like I'm stepping on anything here that I shouldn't be speaking about. One of the initiatives that we've been working on for several months at this time is to have someone called a patient navigator for the at-large citizens of the Cherokee Nation. And I am really, really excited about this program because many of us do go back to Oklahoma from time to time, right? We might make an annual visit or a couple of times or even once every couple of years. And it can be really nice to drop into the Cherokee Nation Health Services during that visit sometimes, just to get our routine care, our routine dental care, our annual checkup, whatever it may be, whatever might be available at those health centers. But if any of you have ever tried to make an appointment at those places, that's the nightmare part of it, right? Because there is only a certain window of time when you can call, to even try and get an appointment. Because of that, you're just going to get a busy signal, a busy signal, a busy signal, and you might actually try for weeks to get that appointment before you finally get through. And then you're kind of at their mercy in terms of when they can get you onto the schedule. So this is the thing that we know, and maybe it impacts people who are more local in Tulsa and other places, but it also impacts all of us who do go back there, on a more or less regular basis. So the patient navigator is going to be established because now, instead of going through all of that, I'm going to be back there 6 months from now. This is the week when I will be there, right? And I'd like to get some routine dental care. I'd like to get a routine checkup, whatever it may be that they are offering. Now there is going to be one place where you can go. It's not going to be one navigator because the need is going to be larger than that, but there will be one place that you can go. You can give them that information. I want an appointment for this, this, and this, and these are the days when I'm going to be there. And they will set up those appointments for you. And I'm just, it's amazing. I'm no one special. I went through all of that trying to get a dental appointment because the dentist here, well, we won't go into that, but anyway. I had to go through that whole rigmarole, right? Of going through all of that calling, trying to break through the system during the half hour, when they take those appointments. And when they did schedule me, it was like 3 months out, because it had to match with when I would be there, and they couldn't get me a month from now, 2 months from now. So it's gonna alleviate all of that, I think. And so that's the thing I'm really, really excited about for the at-large citizens. And I'm getting better care there. When I got that dental appointment, none of the upselling that I frequently encounter around here, right? None of the nonsense. None of the, well, your insurance doesn't cover this, right? Well, get it done there. Get it done there. It was great. And they've got me lined out for the next year for this, for that, We'll get it done. So, anyway.
And it's free for citizens.
And
right?
it's free. Mm-hmm. If you've got Medicare, Medicaid, or you've got private insurance that can be used, oftentimes it can't be used out of your HMO or whatever. But if you've got something that can, they'll take that. But you will not pay anything. Right? You will not pay anything. So that, well, you'll pay for the trip to go back. Right? But if you're doing that anyway, right? This is a really, really great opportunity. And I would say that because we plan our trips months in advance, right? As soon as you know you're going to be there, as soon as you know what the dates are, give them a call, right? And just get a chart established in that system. After that, they'll start getting in touch with you, to tell you when your next checkup is due, things like that. So that really works. Probably most of you didn't get notification of this, but I will announce it. You heard that the Cherokee Nation made some funding available for the people from Hurricane Ian, right, in Florida, who had experienced devastation and so forth. They have recently wanted to do the same for people in California who have been impacted by the recent storms, right, who have experienced flooding, mudslides, etc., damage from trees coming down, whatever it may be, rain damage. So there is a $500 assistance from the Cherokee Nation that is being offered. The application just went up yesterday or the day before. This is for citizens in the counties that FEMA has identified where the individual need is really greatest, right? So they're not looking at infrastructure, they're not looking at other things, but for those who have had individual damage in the counties of Merced, Monterrey, Sacramento, San Joaquin, San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara, and Santa Cruz. Right? So that's not us. We're on the FEMA emergency thing for infrastructure damage and other things, but for individual Cherokee Nation citizens who are in any of those 7 counties and who have experienced damage of some sort can apply through the Gadugi portal for $500 of assistance from the Cherokee Nation. So that just went up yesterday. And so if you have relatives or you know people who are in those counties, get word out to them, right, about this particular assistance. Nation Foundation scholarships closed on December 31st, but what then just opened were the Cherokee Nation scholarships themselves. This is not generally available to at-large citizens unless an at-large citizen is eligible for the federal Pell Grant, which is a low-income grant, right? The federal Pell Grant. So if you have a student or know of someone whose student is eligible for that Pell Grant, then they are also eligible for the Cherokee Nation scholarship as well. The education department doesn't tell us this when we call in, right? So I'm telling you, ask them, say, I'm eligible for the Pell, and they will say, oh, okay, that's very different, and they'll get you into that process. But other things that are coming up is that a couple of years ago, I established something using Cherokee Nation Community Assistance Funds with the Tulsa Community Foundation, it's TCF. It is called the Jack Baker At-Large Service Scholarship. And that is we're gonna revamp it a little bit, I think, for this year, but last year it was a $1,000 award, and there were 12 recipients of it. We're gonna increase the number of recipients, and I think we're gonna revamp it a little bit. It was open last year to people who were going to 2-year schools as well, but that wasn't well publicized. So I think we're gonna set aside a specific number specifically for people going to 2-year schools, trade and technical schools, whatever it may be. And I think I'd like to open it up also to some number of students who are in grad school also, because the Cherokee Nation has nothing at this time for graduate students, which is, we used to, and I think we took those funds and started shoveling it into the undergraduate degrees just because that's where the real numbers were. So anyway, that scholarship is going to be opening up within a few weeks, probably sometime in February. It'll have a cutoff date of March 31st or April 15th at the latest, so it will be open for 4 to 6 weeks, something like that probably. And I will definitely get word out to people on my list about it. If you are not already on my list, if you do not already receive emails from me through something that's called CN Update, Cherokee Nation Update, see me today, get on my list, right? I'll get your information so that you'll start receiving those blasts as well of this kind. And then the last thing, of course, is about the voting situation this year. Our election for the chief and for about half of the council seats, 8 or 9 of the council seats, is on June 3rd. And then the runoff date, if needed, is July 8th. So that's coming up. The process for voting is that you have to register to vote, first of all. There is a form to do that. If you are already registered to vote, you do not need to do it again, right? Just that is a one-time thing. But what you have to do every year or every election is to request an absentee ballot request form, right? And that trips people up here in California, because once you have requested or registered to receive an absentee ballot, you're always going to automatically receive it. And people think it's that way with the Cherokee Nation. Things are tighter, just because it's in Oklahoma, their processes tend to follow those of the state much more, right? Which is a much more conservative process than what it is here in California. So the absentee ballot request has to be submitted every election cycle. So that's the one that even if you voted in a previous election, you're still gonna have to request that form again, right?
And in case you don't know where to send your absentee ballot request, we have some envelopes that are already addressed.
And
Yeah. But you can scan it and email it in too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can fax it in to them. You can take a picture of it and send it to them, right? So.
They wanna let you vote.
Yeah, you can get mixed messages on that point, but on this one, yes, they're pretty liberal about how they will accept the extra form that they require of you, right? So yeah, yes, thank you. But those envelopes are good, because I know not everybody has the machinery, right, to scan, fax, etc. So, there is that. There are some dates that I was looking for here, but, and I'll have them in just a moment. I think March 31st is the date to register to vote if you are not already registered, and then April 10th is the cutoff date to accept absentee ballot requests. All at-large citizens must vote by absentee ballot unless you happen to be in Tahlequah, on early voting dates, which is the week before the election.